across 13 governorates, with 202 candidates competing for 101 seats. And to shed more light on this issue, I'm honored to be joined over the phone by Dr. Wael Badawi, political analyst. Dr. Wael, good day.
Good day, how are you?
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on Nile TV International. And indeed, sir, as we witnessed, Egyptians are keen to go to the voting stations to cast their votes, believing that their voices will count and also believing that their decisions will lead to a better and flourishing future in the country. We witnessed different age brackets, different segments of society are all keen to go to the voting stations in order to cast their votes. How do you see and evaluate the participation or the keenness of Egyptians to go to the voting stations to participate in the voting process?
As you stated and as we witnessed, we have Egyptians, I want to call it, they rush. They rush and they trust that their vote will count. I believe this keenness started to flourish because what has been taken not only by our President Fattah al-Sisi when he wrote on social media encouraging the authority to look into deep, make a consideration to the complaints happened before, and it's not only because the actual court and the different agencies have been nullifying or cancelling some of the results and they have been to rerun. I believe because the transparency as well from the from the election authorities themselves, like as we see yesterday in their press release and press conference, which start to be a habit to have a press conference and maybe more than one in some occasion per day, and just start to talk about how many objections and how many complaints they received and what's the process. I strongly believe that these particular actions from the authority makes Egyptians more confident into their vote will count. And this is all what I said. Now our vote counts, and nobody, as they said it before several times, nobody is coming to the office or taking a seat. Again, it's the will of the actual voters, and we notice this in the electrode which have been, or the polls which have been concluded last week, where we see in the initial run people have getting so many votes, and in the rerun or after the actions have been taken by the national authority, they had fewer or different results. We can just keep it as different results have standing itself against or with these different elections or different candidates.
Well, also, Dr. Wael, Egyptian women have always been making history, and they have been always playing a great and vital role in the society during critical times. And also we witnessed the keenness of women, Egyptian women, to go to the voting stations in order to cast their votes, believing that they have to have a voice. They came from the early morning, even before the polling stations were opened, in order to cast their votes. Also, how do you see or how do you read the witness, how do you read the keenness of women to go and to participate in the voting process?
This is a natural result of the empowerment. If you remember our constitution in 2014, under our President Fattah al-Sisi, and our Vision 2030 of saying empowerment of women, empowerment of special need, or we call it sometimes handicap or gifted people. The empowerment for women have been going around in this country for more than 10 years now. And what you see right now is these women, these ladies, and they bring also their kids to have an early experience. Their kids cannot vote, but they witness their moms and sometimes their family. So having the empowerment for women to come and stand, we notice also that there are so many positions in the country. There are so many seats are dedicated for women. We have ministers, we have in different agencies, we have so many presidents of universities, we have so many head of different communities. So this empowerment is going on in this country in the new Egypt, or the new Republican, as we try to label it. And this is the result. They have been now pushing for this particular task of empowering women, and now they come and they believe the system, and they come and say, yeah, we are now strong enough to dedicate and state our voice And this actually is something to count very positively for Egypt, in particularly when we compare it to the neighbors or to the other countries where you talk about real democratic environment.
Great. Also, Dr. Wael, as we witnessed during the elections in the different governorates of Egypt, the keenness of the elderly who went to the voting stations, leaning on walking sticks and also leaning on or walking on moving chairs, or sitting on moving chairs in order to cast their votes. And indeed, I had the opportunity while covering the elections in Alfy1 governorate to ask one of them about their keenness to go to the voting stations, and they said that, or she said that she came for the sake of her children and also for the sake of their grandchildren, believing that they have to cast their votes for the sake of a better and flourishing future in the country. How do you read this sense of awareness, and also how do you see the keenness of the elderly to go to the voting stations and to take part in the elections?